Ain't no fairy tale, my nigga, I done been there. Vision looking too clear, high beams on the chandelier, stomach the negative, need 7 up, Sierra miss. Combo with God like that, boy, you can never miss. I see exactly what I'm saying, I see exactly what I'm doing. Everything is clear, and that's the vibe I wanted to set with the first and second verse, is that I'm here, everything's good. I got a lot more clarity now in my life than I have had, in a long time and ever really. At 28, I see everything a lot different than I did even at 27. Um, and that's just how I wanted to approach it. Dealing with dreams, they diagnose mental illness. I find some solitude in my mind until that woman trip. A smile do as much as a crime. So how much time I get? Way too many on the timeline. I guess I manifest. Focus is a luxury. For me, focus is a luxury. It's I think about everything. I think about so many things at one time. And I'm sure that's the case with a lot of people, but I'm so passionate and so artistically moved that I'm just constantly thinking. I'm constantly moving, and to focus on one thing at a time, it is a luxury for me because my mind's going a million and two different places. Told me more than a few times that they ain't touching me. Hit the crib just to unwind, I lack the energy. Prayers ain't enough to upgrade all the scenery. Hoping that into the priest. You ever had to struggle just to pay a fee? Dealing with niggas that got no dream to seek? Managers with promises like give it a year, you'll see quarter increase? Rather spend my life on death row or let the 45 blow. Like, I have like a constant um, need to express how much niggas cannot fuck with me. And I know that sounds aggressive, but I do. Like I'm always saying I am that nigga for real, and I mean it. For me, it's like I don't think a lot of people have dreams that big. I don't think that they see the world as big as I do. Growing up in Bakersfield, California, not that people don't have dreams. It's just this isn't LA. This isn't New York. You can have dreams everywhere in the country and the world, but these places you can't throw a rock and hit somebody with a dream. I don't want to be in a situation where my manager say, "Hey, in one more year, man, one more year, you can be here. You can take it there. Like I promise you, one more year, we're gonna up your pay. 45 cents, 25 cents, a dollar, $2. Like, I can't see myself doing that. And I quite honestly, that last line, rather spend my life on death row or let the 45 blow. And it's aggressive, it's scary, but it's honest. And it's the truth. Like I don't want that. I want this. Ain't no fairy tale, my nigga, I done been there. Leap of faith is only a risk. When you do it scared, if you could see my life through my lens, you know I always cared. The only strife I've ever had is seeing life ain't really fair. That's one thing that everyone on the planet can agree with. Life is not always fair. And I think for me, growing up, I always thought that it would just align right. And it took me a long time to get to that point to where I realized I thought I cared enough for this. I knew enough. I thought I worked hard enough. And while I can improve all areas, caring is not something that I felt like I needed to improve in any way. And life never gave me the grace of saying, "Hey, you care so much. Here you go." And it does that for everybody, for most. And that's the only thing that I really feel like I didn't get an opportunity to learn earlier. I wish I'd have learned it earlier. Struggle with anxiety, but choose to stand in front of the room. Struggle with commitment, but got hopes to finally be a groom. Struggle being introverted, but I wrote another tune. Why my biggest aspirations contradict the mirror's view. I'm a very introverted person. Very introverted. I don't like going out. I don't like being around a lot of people, especially if I don't know you. Is everything is true to me to the utmost, man. Like struggle with anxiety, but choose to stand in front of the room. How does somebody who has social anxiety perform? How do you want that? I tell people all the time, especially people that know me, oh, I'm a rapper. I rap. I want to do this. I want to be an actor. I want to do this. I want to do that. I write movies. I do this. How? It took you 5 months to talk to me at work. Like, it doesn't make sense, but it just is. It's my truth. Like, everything I want in life, to be a husband, to be a performer, to be a rapper, to be not necessarily a celebrity, but be somebody in that space, just a creative, be a successful creative is how I want to define it. everything that I want is I'm as a person the opposite of. You know, I have these issues, I have these burdens and these struggles. Like, how is that possible? And it's questions for myself, but it's also just realization of who I am and what I am. What did Kenny say? Oh, I love it when they count me out. Did the film, magazine, still I see him filled with doubt. What did Kenny say? Bitch, you know that I deserve it all. Only one to do what I'm doing, I guess I walk the walk. If you listen to this project, you hear Kendrick. I hope you hear Tyler. Those two especially, from the coast aspect. You know, being and growing up an hour and a half from where they grew up. They had a huge influence on the sound of this and the confidence and just the way I approached it, from not just a writer but also a producer. Just the sounds that I wanted to use, the way I wanted to attack the songs. If you can hear it, it you know it's very apparent. What did Kendrick say? He said, "I love it when you count me out," and I do. You know, as much as I want everybody to support me, everybody to give me an opportunity, I love being doubted. I love people seeing that I announce that I'm gonna do a magazine and then I do the shit. I love when people see that I announce I'm gonna do a short film and then I do the shit. And yes, I needed a bunch of people to make these things happen, but it's like, I'm gonna do it. I don't say shit just to say it. I don't do shit just because it looks cool. I do it because I have a passion for it, I have a love for it. And I love the embracing being counted out. Because I know I'm a prevail every single time. What did Kenny say? I deserve it all. You damn right, I deserve it all, man. I didn't work this hard for this long to not get what I got coming for me. Like God said, it is already written. It is already written. I just got to get there. I just got to get there. That's it. You ever got to see your dreams execute or see them dreams vanish quick? Combo with myself, I let them go. I guess I'm next to quit. Give me one more minute and I'll show you what a purpose is. Ask me how it happened, look to heaven as I plead the fifth. Damn. Damn. I closed the second verse, which is one of my favorite verses, piggybacking the end of the first verse with the, if I'm not doing this, I'm not gonna be doing shit kind of vibe. But it's also it's like the other side of the coin, like the flip side of like, don't be surprised. Like, don't be surprised when you see it because it's happening. It just hasn't happened yet. And that's really what those last few lines is like. Give me one more minute and I'll show you what a purpose is. And when you ask me how it happened, there's nothing to talk about. There's no explanation. There's no, confusion. It's one being that made this happen. Don't be surprised when it happens. That's it. This a fairy tale, my nigga. I ain't seen shit. Everything I ever thought was currency I never spent. Mama said she know it's on the way. I said I need it quick. Time of piss in overdrive. 27 came and went. 28 just show I'm getting further from that little kid. Lil Jit with eyes about as big as a monument. Probably thought I'd have a couple plaques from them verses spit. Not as much depression, but that came from dead inherited. Opening up the third verse was like the climax of the story. Seeing that I'm saying everything that I've been saying in the first two verses and that this is not a fairy tale, this is real life. And then you get to the third verses where it gets, in my opinion, a little sad, a little depressing, because it's just the realization of what I've gone through the last, ever. And it's a little depressing, it's a little sad, but it's truth. Wholeheartedly true. Wholeheartedly true. The first half of the verse, I get to tell you, this is a fairy tale. This is not what it seems. This is dreams that have not been executed yet, that could never be executed, quite frankly. Like they could just never happen. I wouldn't be the first, nor would I be the last for it to just never happen. And as hard as it sucks, it just is. It just is, I really wanted to show where I'm at now. 28 just shows I'm getting further from that little kid, Lil Jit with eyes about as big as a monument. Like when I was 16, when we started Two Real Music, and I was learning how to engineer for the first time, learning how to produce for the first time, I was like, bro, when I get this mastered, it's over. There's no one out here doing it like this. Russ was the only person, but there's no one out here doing it like this. And it, that kid seeing me at 28, would probably be like, yo, what happened, bro? You was going, you knew what you wanted to do, you knew how to do it, and it just didn't happen. And I wanted to show like, hey, there's millions of people that have hit an adulthood at a point in their adulthood where they realize like, damn, that kid, I let that kid down. I let that dream seeker down. I let that vision blur, and it sucks. It really truly does. But you just got to keep going. Not from anybody but myself, though. Took that leap and used everybody as my scapegoat. Got everything I earned and not a single thing I prayed for. Paved a shitty road and thought God wanted me to pave more. That line for me is not only the line of the song to completely tell you exactly what Fairy Tale is about, but to paint the entire picture of what Crème De La Crème is, what this project is. Got everything I earned and not a single thing I prayed for. And I'm big on manifestation. I'm big on, you want something, you got to speak into the universe, you got to ask God for it. I'm wholeheartedly agree with you. But at the same time, you can't want something and not bust your ass for it. And that's what that line is for me. That's why Crème De La Crème is where it's at, why it got made in my house, on no budget. I'm doing this video and that video on my phone or tripod with the green screen, is that line. Everything that I've gotten that I felt like is less than what I should have gotten is what I've earned. I've earned this level of success. Everything I've been praying for is here. I've only earned this though, here. Or this is what I've been praying for. And God's not gonna give me that until I earn it. I can manifest all I want, but you gotta earn it. You gotta be ready for it. And while it may be written, that doesn't mean that it is set in stone for right now. And that's just really what this whole song and this whole project is about, is I'm getting what I've earned and not what I prayed for. But that's gonna change. I promise that. I own it this time. I'm focused this time. I had a couple thoughts, but I'm fine. I live in the now. I made a major shift in my mind, not stumbling out. Riding like I'm Optimus Prime, I figured it out. Hope that I deliver this time, I see it. When I say that I've had a couple thoughts, but I'm fine, I live in the now, but I wrote it as I live in the now. But I rapped it, I live in the now. And I felt like it was just like, oh shit, like this is true. Like I've lived my life since I was 16 in this different space of someone who should be living it. I lived it with the idea that the next project is the one. I lived it with the next idea that I'm gonna be famous by next summer. I'm gonna be rich by next summer. I can blow my credit card through the roof because I'm gonna be able to get that money back and I'm gonna have it tenfold in a couple months because I'm gonna be on. I've lived my life in denial. I've had a lot of mistakes that I've made that has hurt people around me that have loved me. Nothing, crazy, but I've had those mistakes, those lapses in judgment. I've had, moments where in my mind I'm telling myself to do things that I have no business doing, in a negative space. If you've seen the last movie, the short film, that's damn near a biography. Like it's gotten to that point of wanting to do things that you don't want to do or that you shouldn't do because life just starts to beat you down and you want something so much and it just doesn't come, and it gets hard, it gets depressing, it gets sad, it gets scary. But I feel like I've come out the other side of that. I feel like I know exactly what I need to do. I know exactly how to get it. I know exactly how to earn it. I know exactly how to make it mine. And that's how I wanted to close out that verse, is I see it. It's no longer, light at the end of the tunnel. I'm at the end of the tunnel. I see the light, bro. I know exactly what I got to do. And I'm going to do it. And I'm going to make sure I do it. And I'm going to make sure that everyone who's seen me, everyone who's believed in me, everyone who supported me, they can say, we saw it too. We're just glad that you made it happen. And we're glad that you get to enjoy those fruits of your labor because you've earned this. And that's just what Fairy Tale is. It isn't the truth now, but it will be. I can't keep running away. Said I can't keep running away from me. And one day you'll see just how far we've come. For me, and I love that I got Woe on this. Is a guy that I've worked with a lot and I've known growing up. We've known each other. I love the passion he puts into it. That chorus for me is, it just like, I'm the only issue. I'm the only block that I have for my dreams. That's how I feel. Right now, that's how I feel. If I get out of my head and I make the plays I need to make, I extend the drive that I need to extend, I'll make it happen. And I've been lazy in certain aspects and not making things happen. And it's just me. And then at some point, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to turn around, I'm going to look back, and I'm going to say, man, look at how far we've come. Look at how far we've come. We just haven't got there yet. We haven't got to that moment yet. We haven't earned that sit down yet. You know, you don't get to sit down after a long day of doing nothing, like, man, I'm tired. Oh, finally I get to sit down. Now you got to go earn that rest. And that's how I'm feeling. I got to go get it. I got to go make it happen. And that's what this, that chorus is for me, is you got to go. You know what to do it. And at some point you'll be able to sit down and look back and say, man, you did a lot. Look at it. Enjoy it. Embrace it. Love it. Appreciate it. You know, it won't be a fairy tale at that point.